A primary focus of my practice is this element of performance. So I'm really invested in thinking about the ways that we perform identity online. But also I think about software as a very performative medium. When you have code that runs, it's executing live, similarly in the way that a dancer is on stage and there's this element of liveness to it. My name is Maya Mann, and I'm an artist, and I make work about identity culture on the internet. I'm really interested in the ways that we try to make sense of ourselves through our process of consuming and producing content online. And my primary medium is software, so often I'm making websites as art objects or programming a generative piece that's made with code. So I got into generative art because I initially went to college and I was interested in studying computer science. My sense of what it meant to be an artist was that it meant you were good at drawing and painting, you were good at these traditional mediums, and I always gravitated toward math. And I was interested in physics before I decided to do computer science. And then after I decided to study computer science in school, I met some people who were working on processing and P5.js. So Lauren Lee McCarthy, the founder of P5.js, invited me to the first conference for P5, and at that time I had just finished my first year of college. Once I realized that there were people who were using code to make their work and using code as a primary part of their practice, for me that unlocked the possibility that I could also be an artist. This show is called I'm Feeling Lucky, and it's named after the Google button, which has been on the google.com homepage since 1998 when Google was first released. And the exhibition focuses on the culture of astrology and horoscopes. I moved to Los Angeles in September of 2021, so about 2 years ago, and I was so fascinated by the hold that astrology seemed to have on the city and so many of my friends, and I mean, and especially the internet. I feel like over the past 10 years, you've seen it sort of rise in popularity, and you have these apps nowadays like CoStar or The Pattern that are all about delivering to you some sort of horoscope or reading about who you are or what your life is like. So the show consists of a series of outputs that have randomly generated text that's mimicking a lot of the format of like horoscopes or astrology readings, but it's all randomly generated, so the computer doesn't know who you are, the computer doesn't even know what it's saying. But what I've found is really beautiful about these projects that I've done with randomly generated text is that I often find meaning in whatever the computer outputs. And when I'm looking at one of these outputs, there'll be a sentence or something that really resonates with me. And it doesn't matter that it was generated by a computer to me. If it resonates, it resonates. And that's what's exciting to me about people viewing this work in the space and coming in and spending time and reading is sort of the practice of picking out what feels right to them or what they identify with. I'm Feeling Lucky will exist as a collection of 366 editions that are randomly generated online, and I chose 366 because it's the exact number of days in a leap year. I wanted to include the leap year. And so much of astrology and horoscopes rely on the date that you were born. So it felt like the right number for the collection. And so I've chosen this curated set of example output of what the algorithm might produce. It's been really special laying out the show in this way and thinking about not only which outputs to print, but also how they interact with each other and how they interact with the physical space. Yeah, so I'm very excited for people to see it.